So this week we have continued working on the shower. It has been a process. I know sometimes these videos can make the process look a lot easier than it actually is. The shower was probably the hardest thing. Just very fiddly, that's all. Just very, very fiddly and time consuming. We're very happy that we can finally move on to something else. But this video, basically, we will just be finishing off the shower, you know, putting up the acrylic tiles that I mentioned in the last video, finishing the plumbing, and basically just securing it all together. Let's get to it. Just taking everything out for the minute because we're also putting an extra barrier with this moisture barrier, which is used in homes, this here, and we're just going to stick it along the side of the wall and down the bottom here. There you go. There's the hole for the drain. So we just cleaned the space up, just vacuumed and rubbed some Crep salt over it, over the floor, so that we can now paint it with this waterproofing membrane. Okay, so it's been about 2 hours since I did this first coat and it is dry to touch. So before we leave, I'm just going to do the second coat. We put the waterproofing barrier there in the shower area, but we had a lot of material, so instead of wasting it, we're just going to put it on both sides of the bus. So you can see, and we used the insulation tape, the silver one. And we're going to move the cabinets across and do it all on this side as well. And we just marked the hole for where the mixer is going to go, hot cold. And we're just going to use the hole saw to drill the hole.
That's it, that's how it's going to look.
Cool. We accidentally went a bit high. Luckily we didn't go all the way through before we realized. All right, so we are finally at the point where all these panels have been fitted and trimmed. We need to use all the panels now as templates because we're going to be tiling them with these acrylic wall tiles. So we got these panels from Bunnings. As you can see, they're quite big. I think they're 1200. Hold on. Yeah, sorry. So they're 2400 by 1200, 3mm thick, as you can see. And they're just the plain white subway tile. You need to first paint these with a waterproof paint, that membrane that we used for the floor. And then we are going to basically just stick these tiles on once we've cut them to size. I think this might just fit. So this is the panel with the mixer in it on the left, and this one is where the door will slide in front of, so the wall panel. So we're going to cut these two out. We have just placed this first panel with the mixer on the acrylic tile panel. Just put some masking tape down to help protect the tiles so we don't scratch them. So that is the first panel in, and we are so pleased with how it looks. It looks so good. I can't wait until they're all done, but that just gives you an idea. And then so this one was the panel that was on the right hand side, and we just need to trim it a little bit. So this is the panel that I was just talking about that we basically just trimmed. This is the third panel. And we've just put some masking tape down so that when we cut it, it doesn't scratch or ruin the tiled panel. Oops. And I'm just outlining where to cut with the jigsaw. So we're trying to get a little resourceful here. As you saw we have finished the 1, the 2, and this panel here. So for this panel here and this little strip here, sorry, across, we're trying to use what's left over. So we have that there, and we had this little panel here. So now that we have cut all the tiles to the shapes of the panels, we're just going to go on and do a coat of that membrane that I used for the base. Okay, so they've all been painted. This beautiful Shrek green colour. That's the membrane. And just going to leave them all to dry overnight. We're just gluing down with 227 Sikaflex. We're gluing down this shower base. And on the wood, so that is glued down and secured. And that dirty ass tire is just putting some weight on it overnight. So we're working on the plumbing for the mixer. Putting on some, what are they called, right angles?
The John Guest to adapt 15mm BSP to the 12mm piping. We're using the John Guest piping.
Whatever that means.
Well, the piping's only 12.
Dad just said John Guest is the best, so I'll just believe him. Is that right?
Well, it's a UK product. Can't be bad.
Mm. You heard it first. John Guest is best. Forget about the rest.
There's a nylon olive in there, and basically I'm compressing it. I just do it till it's really tight. That's it. Done. That's just a push lock, and then we're using a little C-clip. It sits in there just between the collar and the fitting, and that locks that in place. Stops the hose possibly coming out. And then because this is going in the wall cavity, you can actually buy these, I don't know what the exact name is, but they're like a sleeve that locks onto the seat, and there could be an earthquake and there's no way that's going to pop out.
Just doing the pressure test now. We're just using a battery to power up the water pump.
Yeah, you'll be okay, there's no way. Close it off. Close it off. Go to the top one at the rose and open it quickly a couple of times. Yeah, close it. Open it. Alright. That'll do.
Enough?
Yep, I'll just keep the pressure on it. I'll check it in 5 minutes.
If there's a water
Droplet, I'm going to scream.
So we've let it rest for 10 minutes.
Yep.
And we're just going to run it again. But it looks good. There's no water droplets forming again.
Yep.
All good.
A couple more times. Again. Okay, then go to the top.
All good?
Yep, that's it. Just let it sit again.
Oh, there's water. No,
Yeah,
I'm joking.
bullshit.
So we've just waited another little while and there are no leaks. So that is a good sign that the pressure test went successfully now. The waterproofing paint has dried and we have just put in some pieces to support this panel so that we can permanently secure it. This panel here. So we're just using a bit of liquid nails now that we've secured all these pieces that I just talked about. I'm just putting liquid nails all the way down across the top here. We're just countersinking where the nail's going. Sorry, screw. Hopefully that's sturdy enough that if I fall over in the shower, it's not gonna fall onto the driver. Okay, so we have secured this panel and this panel. We need to put the tiles on both of them before we can actually put the panel here or here, basically because we then need to brace it probably overnight. And you'll see we've made it so the tiles actually slot in here. So it's about 3 mil. So the tiles actually slot really nicely in both sides. So we just need to make sure that they slot in and they're glued on before we can actually do this, put this panel in. So we're just using 227 Six Flex, the heavy duty glue, to glue on the acrylic tile panel. So we're just gluing up the wood panel, just bracing it now that it's glued on. And we will repeat for this side. Alright, so it is the next day and we left all this bracing on overnight and it is pretty solid. I don't think that's going anywhere. We are just putting this piece in now and then we're going to work out, we're having a little like, I don't know, shelf windowsill that's going to sit on top here. So we've got to put that in as well. Alright, so after a bit of messing around, you can see once we need to push it up a bit, this bottom one. It matches here and also there. And we're pretty happy with this piece, well these two pieces. It just took a bit of fiddling, but we got there in the end. And we're now just working out some pieces for this shelf, windowsill, whatever we want to call it, before we glue it on. So I just wanted to show what we did here. So we got these, I think they're called corner mounts, like these angles here. We got them from Bunnings. They're literally like $1. They are right next to where you find these wet panels. So basically we've just got 1, 2 and then 3 on the underside pieces, really small strips of these tiles, and we made it so it perfectly will slot in here. It's just so we're going to make sure we slide this up so there's no gap. This is how it is looking. So we've now glued these two pieces on. And we're hoping you won't be able to tell it's actually two pieces. We've put some masking tape and just put some glue. And we're going to put some silicone in there so that there's no gap between the two. That's how it is looking. So Dad has just hole sawed 2 holes so that we could feed the hot and cold water hoses through the cabinet, because the hot water unit will be sitting in the bottom here. So we have secured this piece here. That's going to be where the kitchen cabinet comes up to. And I'm just now puttying it so that I can sand it and paint it white. And I'm going to be painting this white as well, along with this piece, and put this piece, this trimming piece in here and basically paint that white as well. So that is the first coat of paint, just a real quick job. Alright, so we managed to put these two pieces up with an L bracket, like the external corner mounting. I don't even know if that's what it's called, but just, it'll do. But it was a massive fail and we didn't film it because it was just so frustrating. I don't know if you can see, it basically doesn't join up. No matter what we did, no matter how much glue we put, it just didn't join up. So basically that is just sticking to the metal on the angle, and then this piece is just has a joint at the bottom of it. So to the naked eye, when you're actually standing up here, it'll look like it joins up. That was the best that we could do, and we're just going to leave that brace overnight, and when we come back in the morning hopefully it's all secured. It is the next day and that is pretty secure. The glue has dried and it's not going anywhere. There's just a few things that we need to do to finish off the shower. So I'm just going to give it another light sand because it's pretty dodgy in some areas. Like really dodgy. So I'm just going to give it a quick sand again and a second coat of paint on these outside areas. We need to trim that piece off so it's flush. And basically we need to silicone all the edges. So we need to like silicone these gaps here with marine flex, and silicone again just to shove on the rubber ring and the mixer and the shower head and secure all that. After that, we basically just need to figure out where the door is going to go. And I think we're going to put it on this edge here, and it'll slide in front of this door and it'll slide over and above that hump. But I don't know if we'll get to the door today. We just want to kind of finish off the little minor touches. Okay, that is the second coat of paint. And I actually did a first coat on this side, but this is actually going to be hidden because the cabinet is going to go here behind the driver's seat. So there's going to be a floor to ceiling cabinet here, but I just wanted to give it a coat anyway. So now that we've finished this paint, Dad's just finishing off the silicone, and then we'll put the tap and mixer on. We ran out of silicone, so we basically just did there, the top, the side, and this side here. We didn't get to do here, or the bottom pieces, or clean up this here. So it's really noticeable that it's two pieces now, but hopefully once we silicone it, it'll look a bit better. And we're also putting a trimming piece here, so that will be covered. But that's how the shower head will look in the mixer. We're going to finish off the shiplapping so it'll interlock with the top of these tiles here. We've bought a 12-volt exhaust fan, which is probably going to go around here, and also an LED light. So we just need to wait until basically we need to run those wires, then we can finish the shiplapping. But yeah, there's just a few real minor touches to go. That is it for this week. Next week we will be working on the electrics. So probably starting out by just figuring out where all our lights are going to go and where the wires are going to fall down, so that we can then put up all the shiplapping. So as you can see, we've started just so that we can figure out this shower piece. But yeah, we're going to basically just continue that along and see how we go. So thank you for watching, and see you in the next video.